You're listening to the Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net.
freedomtalkradio.net. Just for the heck of it, because I really don't have anything to say, let's play this. We'll get it all out of the way.
The Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net.
Good afternoon, babe.
Good afternoon, babe, yourself. Now, we have absolutely nothing to talk about except the last upload we've done.
The Shroud.
Every time I've looked at it, it's gone up one view.
That's right. That's because every time you look at it, you're pressing a play and it counts your play click. Alright, what's it all about, Alfie? I should say, what's it all about, Alpha?
Now, what's the name of the Shroud thing we put on?
Oh, Joel called it.
Shroud Skeptics actually have it right?
Yes, that's right.
Alright, I'll go in and just see. Last time I was in there was 23 views. It's now 28.
Ooh.
So it is going up. People are very interested in the Shroud, of course. And what this particular, quite a long, drawn-out debunking of the Shroud.
Yes.
There's one guy that particularly annoys me because, first off, he's got tenure at a university. He's a professor.
Hello.
And the only way you get that is by being one of the Jews.
That's right.
Right? Even the Catholic universities, you are asked, right, whether you believe in the intelligent design. Now, just for those who don't know, intelligent design is the irreducible number of component parts to a cell that cannot have come into existence in any other way except at the same moment. In other words, there's 22 amino acids, which gives you a combination of 10 to the 83rd power, which is about how many atoms there are in the Milky Way galaxy. And they all come into being at the same moment of 22 amino acids to combine to give a working model of one thing they talk about is the flagellum bacteria, a tiny little thing that is made up of 40 parts that have to be assembled in order. And it has been described as being the most efficient electrical device, motor. In the universe.
And Michael Behe is
Michael Behe at the university, I think he's a Mormon, maybe not. He does have 9 kids, so he does know a little bit about molecular reproduction. And very nice fellow. And he wrote a book, Darwin's Black Box. In other words, he explained, well, at the time of Darwin, when they thought of a cell as a little tiny glob of virtually nothing more than...
the amoeba, wasn't it?
Amoeba.
Began with the amoeba.
But when they go into it, of course, the human body has 100 trillion cells in it, and I've spoken about this before, that how we cure diabetes, for example, the membrane of the cell, in other words, the skin outside the cell body itself, is like the skin, if you like, around your brain. And so you can say, where does all the thought processes go inside the cell? Well, the cell has to get information, and it's got little antennae on it, and it communicates with all the other cells. So if a cell is transplanted, say, from into your nose, into your brain, it'll start forming brain tissue because it's in communication with the other cells close to it, and will make a brain cell. However, the little antenna is just like what was sitting up on top of the old houses years ago when they had the antenna for the television set. So it picks up the signal that's closest to it from the house next door, for example, and will start to play the same tune, going down into the cell to manufacture what the house next door is manufacturing, right? If you had one channel. So what they've discovered is the cell itself, and this is what we discovered when we was in Fiji, that the Jews, God bless them, I love Jews, they're lovely, they are lovely people.
Swedge, hyenas.
I don't know why a wood chipper comes to mind when I say that. Maybe it's because John had a job repairing a wood chipper.
Yes,
the old
he
joke
successfully
is,
repaired
how
a
many
wood
Jews
chipper.
can you get in a Volkswagen, you know? Well, 4 in the seats and 55 in the ashtray. How many Jews can you get into a wood chipper? That's what I was thinking. Well, you said that. I wouldn't say something very nasty like that. So I love the Jews, and I should blaspheme you about that.
What's their number one biggest lie?
That Jesus was a Jew.
Totally. And number 2?
Jesus
Show
was a Jew.
a business and show a business, like show a business. And shower is their name for Holocaust. Holocaust.
That's right.
Their second biggest lie. The third is that they are the Israelites and therefore God's chosen. The fourth is that it's all about religion, just another religion.
It's all about race.
All about race. And the fifth is that all men are created equal. Hello. There's no business like show a business. There's no business at all.
All right, so we are reaching the end of the tether here. They can't go any further. The snapping dog is on the end of its chain, and it can't go any further. So Biggest is coming along with the shotgun and is going to sort them out, so to speak. And I don't mean that because they are lovely people, let's face it. You ever met a Jew?
Your nose is growing.
Huh?
Your nose is growing.
That's the poking nose effect, eh? So the cell itself is like little human beings. We all communicate with each other. So the information coming into your little brain through your TV set or through the little phones that you use and the games you play and little children is all satanic. It all has a motive. It is all constructed in such a way that it'll make you think there's no business like
show a business, there's no business at all. And when you're going to your churches every Sunday listening to the pastor preach, he's preaching the lies of the Jews that Jesus condemned. How can they escape the condemnation of hell? They're not, because...
So anyhow, the cells...
Oh dear.
All right, so there's this guy that I find particularly annoying. You know, if you got tenure at a university, and I've had something to do with universities, and you've got to be a
avoiding them.
Job.
Avoiding them.
Right. I have had a little bit of experience with people that are professors.
Yes.
And they are the stupidest people I've ever come across.
Of course.
Right?
They have to.
So that's what they want. And to teach the doctrine of the people who own and put the money for the tenure. And the tenure is a contract for a professor for a certain period of time to study what they tell him to study.
Well, not study, to teach.
To teach.
To teach what he's already
They do
studied.
study. They do have this, but they've got to come up with the same
curriculum,
otherwise they're out of a job. Well, when you're getting $200,000 or $300,000 a year, and the next step is the welfare line, what are you going to say? Well, there's one guy that is in, two men actually, but this one particular guy is such an idiot and a professor, I think his name is Nichols or Nicholson, and he made this amazing statement about the Shroud of Turin, because the whole show was dedicated to debunking the Shroud of Turin as being real. Now, Barry Schwartz, who is a Jew, and he said he's not a Messianic Jew, but he does believe that the Shroud is genuine. He was a photographer that went there as a token Jew in the first place in 1978, and he thought he'd go there, have a look with his camera and see the brushstrokes and see you later. Well, he's still looking at it, and he has said that although he's a Jew, he is convinced that it is the resurrection shroud of Jesus. Absolutely, 100%. So he sort of got himself in a hard place in a rock. That it's the old saying in America, you got yourself between a rock and a hard place.
Rock and a hard place.
Because he doesn't want to deny his Judaism, because he's one of the chosen, he said so himself.
Mm.
However, he does believe that it is Jesus and he did resurrect from the dead. So he's got himself in a bit of a problem there. But he does say that. Now, Joel took the statement of this idiot that says that the image on the shroud, he said it's not negative, which it is, of course. And so when Pierre originally took a photograph in 1898, he was stunned to find that as the negative was developing on his plate, it turned out to be a positive. So in other words, the negative thought he was going to see turned out to be a positive image. He was taking a photograph of the negative is what he's saying. And of course, what this professor and this other clown has said, that Jesus must have been an albino because he had white hair.
And
what have I been saying all along, my little sweetie sausage pie?
That the image of the Shroud of Turin is the old man, the soul that was resident within the young body, called Jesus in his first incarnation. Today, it is the image of Brian Leonard Golightly Marshall, the new name of the Revelation, the name written that he would only know, Revelation 19:12, who is this time the old man, the Father, the Comforter, and the Holy Ghost.
So, the Trinity is all one entity. It's the Creator, who is also the soul of Jesus, and this is why Jesus was born of a virgin, because of the XX chromosome and 23 of them, female, and a Y chromosome, singular. Mm. So if you look at the Essenes, the Gospel of the Holy 12, it talks about Jesus as his name being Jeshu Maria. So in other words, the mother and Jesus of the same without a father. So she was not conceived by a normal male, and her child was Jeshu, the Saviour. So his name was Jeshu Maria. Mm. At death, the soul left on the cross. Now get this around your little brain. I'm going to do a PowerPoint on this, but I've got about 10 things I'm trying to do at one time. And I am quite tired after this bloody jet lag and this business in India. Very, very depressing. So what you have, look for it in the upload I do, the blood on the shroud was against the body, my body. I was there at the time, I'm telling you whatever. So you got the back. Now the body had been washed by the horrendous storm that occurred, and it was all the fresh blood, if you like, had been washed off. The congealing blood was still on the body because the wounds, open wounds from the flagrum, nail holes, spear in the side, all this kind of thing, that is on the one side of the shroud. The image, however, is on the other side of the shroud. So what happened was this. The soul leaves, Father leaves, the old man leaves from the cross. The body is now dead. The flesh is dead, no blood, finished. Put into the shroud in the tomb. The shroud is pulled over it. There's a face cloth that was put on the face while the body is being taken to the tomb where the shroud was waiting, folded up in 8 pieces. That's why there's crease marks on it. It was the tablecloth of the Last Supper. The face cloth was a napkin. The large piece is made of 2 pieces of cloth. If you look at the image of the shroud, you find it slightly off centre. And the reason for that, if you look very, very closely on some photographs, you can see there's a piece being stitched meticulously down one side. Now, because of running out of time, the body is laid on the shroud and you've got the face cloth and you've got the binding cloth, which is only 88.8 mils wide, or Americans 3.5 inches. And that is later stitched on the side of it. That was going to be used to bind the body, because that's what they do in those days. They put you on a shroud, they then tie and anoint the body, get it all clean and anoint with oils, and then they tie this grave cloth around the body and keep it in place with this 171 inches long by 3.5 inches wide piece of cloth. So it's just a binding cloth. It was never used. The shroud is laid out, Jesus on it, I'm on it, and the face cloth was at one end. It has the blood stains that matches the blood on the shroud itself. And the blood, of course, is on the inside of the shroud that's against the body. So think of it this way. You lay the shroud out, you lay the body on it, pull the shroud over the head down to the feet. The body is off to one side in the actual photograph, but in fact it's on the centre of. There's no way in the world that these women would have laid the body out with Joseph of Arimathea and Peter. They would not have laid the body out off centre. They would put it right in the centre of the shroud, and that's what it is. However, when we see the photographs today, there's a piece on the side that's been stitched to it. And I told them 20 years ago. No one picked up it until last week. Jackson, his name is, he's got this video out now, which I watched last week, saying that he found that this thing is been stitched on the side.
And they sound like such heroes.
Oh, heroes. If he was an octopus, he'd pat himself in the back with the other 6 bloody hands, right?
And how long have you been telling them?
20 years or more.
Exactly.
Ever since I got in internet.
Well, it's...
Why is it so? Well, the shroud was removed after the body's gone. So the grave cloth, the face cloth, the napkin, which says, when you buy if you're living in a luxury house, this is a very expensive piece of cloth, the way of the weave and so forth, it's very, very rare. And that's one of the beautiful things about it. And Joseph of Arimathea was the richest man in the Middle East. And he bought it for the Last Supper. The Last Supper, being Essenes, they put flowers all over it. There was flower crazy. They used to make all the these oils out of...
essential oils.
Yeah, essential oils out of flowers. Right? All right. So they're sitting on the table with the food, and you've got the face cloth because you ate with your hands and had a bowl of water, and you rinsed your fingers, and then you wipe it off with a napkin. Okay. So then it's folded up. All the cloths and flowers are taken off it, and it's folded up into 8 pieces, like 8 times, like in a concertina. So when you get it at the other end, you just pull it and it comes apart, laying it out. So think of it like a long sheet. Think of it as a hall runner, which we're going to use a shroud for when we get it. And you take the end of it and you fold one piece back. Then you lift it up and you fold it back in a concertina, and you end up with 8 pieces. And that's why there's pieces with the shroud itself is the material creases very easily. So when you leave it like that for an hour or 2 or 3 or 4.
Well, as does any linen. We've been wearing linen lately, and how
That's right.
we don't bother ironing. We just
All right. So they take the shroud, they pull it out. The end of the tomb where this was Joseph of Arimathea's tomb was lengthened because Jesus was 6 foot 2 inches long. Right? Now Joseph was a smaller man, older man. So they had to chisel out the end of the resting place because it was his tomb. But they did it for a reason.
So,
then they elongated it. You didn't have it specially built, maybe you did. But the point is, when it was purchased, they then excavated another half a foot on the end to fit Jesus into it. And that is why it's pulled over the head down to the feet, because the head's up into that little groove part, right? On the end of it. So what do we go?
So what do you say to all of the scientists and those that are blabbing on? Oh, he was 5'10", 170 pounds.
Yeah, right.
Bullshit.
The people in those days were very big. The average height was 5 feet 11. Today, the average height of a European is 5 feet 7. You know that? So they were big people. Now,
and when you were taken back in the...
Well, I said to you about Joseph.
Joseph and Mary herself was very tall.
She was very tall and he was a giant.
And the descriptions of Pontius Pilate and those...
Tall man.
Tall, that Jesus was tall. He stood above...
Light skin, stood above everybody.
Stood above those. That's what made you stand out.
Yeah, when we talk about big people in those days, we're not talking about the Idumean Jews. They're the black people. They're from Idumea.
And these are the false Jews. The Jews who are Jews.
Even the people that say they're descended from those that live in Israel today, like Yitzhak Kaduri, it wasn't a true Jew.
No.
Right? Jews are Judah, which come from Ireland, Scotland.
And Jew was a slang for Judeans of Judah.
That's right. Because all the true Jews were gone. They were in Ireland and Scotland and England. All right, so the shroud itself, when you take it without the 3.5 piece strip on the side, which is what they later stitched on, you look at the body from that perspective, and the area of that is the word for ghost, image, phantom. So you do the math. It's 171 by 39.5 gives you 6757. I'll look it up in Greek, Hebrew now. 6754.
That's right.
6754.5 it is. The 5 is father. Alright, so if we do that. So what it is the word is teslim, meaning to shade, a phantom, illusion, resemblance, representative figure, especially an idol image, and to vainly show. And of course the 5 number in Greek is father. So what it's saying is from Aramaic to Abba. Right, now why do we know it as Abba? What happened? Release Barabbas.
Barabbas and Bar, Abba.
That was my nickname. Barabbas was my nickname. It means son of the father, son of Abba. That's what it means. They said release Barabbas.
And they just happened to have a dude called Barabbas.
They had a guy underneath, right, who was also zealot, and he was named Barabbas. And they released Barabbas. The crowd was calling to release Jesus. It wasn't called Jesus. Right? The nickname was Barabbas. All right, so what we have then is the image, which is now the phantom on the one side. Now, if you take, I'll do it for you because I know you haven't got a computer in front of you. If you take the word comforter, let's spell it right, yeah, that's good. We've got ECC 41, LAM 19, LAM 116, John 1416, John 1426, John 1526 and John 16:7. If you add them up as 4.1 added to 1. Well, I'll do it. 4.1 added to 1.9 added to 1.16 added to 14.16 added to 14.26 added to 15.26 and added to 16.7. You know what it gives you? 67.54. What are you laughing at?
Glory, glory.
Do you think I'd miss that? Do you think I'd miss that? Like,
Glory,
you're dealing with biggest here. So what is a 67.54 in Hebrew?
Tesla.
I'll do it again. 67.54.
Phantom.
It is a vain image, a phantom, illusion, resemblance, representative figure, an image
of
myself, of the old man, of the comforter. This is the comforter. So it's saying it's the comforter, it's the image of the comforter, who is? Hello?
Hello.
Even Chinese person. But please be telling me you would understand. Only every time I talk like a Hindi, my head starts to shake.
It's not a shake.
And when I talk like a Chinaman, I feel like a Chinese meal.
It's not a shake though. It is a wobble, a contortion
Good.
almost.
Now that's not hard to understand, is it? You add all those numbers together and it tells you it's a comforter. And where do you find the comforter? Well, that number in Greek is 3, so let me think now, 3, 8,
7,
7 and 5.
5.
The 5 is Father, right? And on it goes. So what does that mean? Can you tell the people what it means?
It means that it ain't Jesus. He was sending a message when he was telling his disciples, if I don't go, I cannot send another comforter. Or if I do not go, the Father and I cannot send the comforter. Or if I do not go away, then the Father cannot send the comforter. So
now,
it was never Jesus coming back. He was making it very plain. And is why don't go looking for me. Those all the false Christs out there going.
All the false Christs, no point. So Christ ain't going to be here in the Jesus figure.
No.
So you
won't
go to my
recognise
little
him.
house, where I was raised until I was 942 days old.
Measures.
From the South Pole is the word comforter, 3875. Now, you break that word up into 387 and a 5. What's a 5? The Father in Greek. Abba. Okay. And the 387 is permanent.
So in other words, it's
He will stay with you forever, permanently.
I'll never leave you.
Oh, damn.
It's
not
for
hard,
now.
is it? Okay, and let's see. Another number for you.
Oh. No, the measure from the hospital.
38 is purity.
Glory, glory.
Holiness. So you got the
Pure.
holiness, permanently, the Father with you forever.
Purity. And you said to the pure in heart, the promise was, you shall see God. How?
Be in your
Because
face.
it's the image on the Shroud of Turin, so easily recognizable as Brian Medico, lightly Marshall.
Alright, so let's go back to this moron.
You'll see. Now, I just want to, because talking of synchronicities, the little chat with Catherine this morning.
Oh, right.
Now, who,
Wood chipper.
the wood chipper, let's word up the wood chipper. We all love the hyenas. They can all take a run and jump into the wood chipper. We often say that our life is like an opera, don't we?
Yeah,
Why
absolutely.
is that? Because as we're playing pool or whatever it is that we're doing, first thing in the morning, Yara's singing and I'm trying to sing in response, but there's this banter going backwards and forwards. and it really is a musical comedy. However, this morning, what brings this on? We're talking about the Comforter at 3875 miles from the South Pole. However, the ward that you were born into at St. Margaret's Hospital in Darlinghurst, Sydney, measures 3877 miles from the South Pole. And Catherine said that John worked for a man called Elijah yesterday to fix the wood chipper, which only took him half an hour. And Elijah's phone number was 3877. All right, and he did get paid. He got paid.
Got paid for change.
He got paid immediately. And here's another little oddity. I said, how did you meet Elijah? She said, there is an Aussie doctor here named Dr. Bill. We don't really know him, but apparently he quit his job teaching because of the pharma companies. He recommended Steve for the job and Steve took John. So they're each paid and did repair the wood chipper. Hello! I told her to think of it as a prophecy. It's all prophetic because Yar often talks about the wood chipper.
Absolutely.
For the ones that we love, the hyenas.
The hyenas. Now,
Yes.
the word 3877 in Hebrew is latan,
Yes.
which is a covering, like in a shroud, comforter, and it's from 3875, which is comforter. So it's a covering of the comforter for the shroud. But the 3877 number is how many times the word God is found in the 1611 King James Bible, in the original. Now, I have noticed on the internet, they got the Blue Bible and all these other ones, they're starting to add words for the concordance so you can't get the same numbers that I'm giving you. And but don't worry about it, I've got copies of it, so it ain't going to be going way too far.
Now, okay, from 3844. That's right, I'm just following the lead here. You got covering from 3877. Is that what you said?
3877 in Hebrew.
In Hebrew?
Yeah. Go do it again.
I am.
Trying to keep up, baby.
I am. From 38. Oh, I see. Yeah, covering. Yep.
Why do you doubt me?
No,
Why do you doubt my dear?
I didn't doubt you at all.
Well, it sounded like it.
No, I was retracing my steps, which is what 3877 in Greek is. It means to trace out,
To have
conform to,
follow,
attain, follow,
know.
fully know, have understanding. That's what I was doing. I was demonstrating
Now,
a
St.
3877
Margaret's
in
Hospital,
Greek.
of course, goes back to the Queen of England that was chased out by the conquerors, William the Conqueror, and her family went over to Hungary. And so she was born in Hungary, but she was still Queen. And she married Malcolm III. Very sad. Malcolm, of course, was fighting the English.
Right.
This is going back to the times of King William the Lion as the grandparents, right? So her husband and her eldest son, who had the baby boy that became the father of King William, right? They were killed, and the younger son had to come back from the war telling Margaret that her husband and eldest son was dead.
Yes.
And she died 3 days later of heartbreak.
Broken.
Now, she was the one responsible for bringing the Benedictine monks from France to Scotland.
That's right.
And in honour of the Benedictine monks and his grandmother, King William the Lion, who had a silver mine making his own money, had a dispensation from the Pope that his country was separate from being dominated by the Pope. Right?
It was a special status, and they were regarded as like a sister, a sister relationship.
So it's very, very important to realise that. It's the only country that got away with it. And probably had so much money that a bit of a bribe went on. Who knows? But in any case, look at it from the honourable point of view. He then started to build these Benedictine monasteries in honour of his grandmother that had died in such a tragic way. And she was raising him, so he was only a boy when he became king, right? Because all the others are gone, right? So as it turns out, the lineage goes from Malcolm III to himself, with the understanding that his grandmother was totally devoted to the very, very pious, lovely woman. In fact, when you read about her, and it's difficult to get hold of the information on it, but I did trace it down. Especially seeing it in when we went to Arbroath Council.
Arbroath Monastery, yeah.
Monastery. In ruins. However, the story is, of course, that that name is now passed down and becomes St. Margaret's, which was the Catholic maternity ward which I was born into, which is all very nice and lovely thing. And the distance to the South Pole is the number for God, 3877 miles. So on and on it goes. So the Comforter is very easy to find. You just punch it in. Probably you'll find it in most Bibles online. It'll give you the numbers of the verses. That's the important thing, right? And you just add them all together and you get the 67.54, which is the length of the Shroud of Turin, 171 inches by 39.5 inches. And you end up with the ghost image, phantom, and in Greek the 5 number is Father. And it is and it's the word Abba. So you see how it all fits together. Here's Abba, crucified, goes into the shroud. The piece on the side was the binding cloth, made from the same material. And then later, the ladies stitched it together. And the face cloth went to Spain. It's been there since at least the 600s. They've got it there to this day. And the blood stains on it match the blood stains on the head of the image on the Shroud of Turin. Now, what I'm trying to point out to you is that the blood stains was against the body. Right? The image is on the other side. The outside. And that is why they've got the spear in the right side. And I've said this before.
Which is the wrong side.
It's the wrong side. Your heart's on the left side.
Yeah,
right?
and the spear went through the heart.
That's right. So the idea was with Pontius Pilate, who was a friend of Jesus. This is another thing that's not in history, but he's a very dear friend. He was trying to keep him from being killed by the Jews, and he tried to warn him that he can't protect him anymore because they're getting worse and worse and worse, right? They're after his blood, right? Well, this is the whole thing. They were tricked into doing it because killing Jesus on the cross, killing me on the cross, released my blood, which has got the Father in it. And that is why, as it comes back, it leaves from the cross, and as it's coming back into the tomb, it's got the shroud to go through. So as it's going through it, it causes the image to be formed. So the shroud image is on both sides. So you could say the body was stood upright and the image coming from all directions to give it the image on the outside. And that is why they think it's on the inside and the blood is on the outside. It's not. The other way around. Because it's stupid. It's obvious. If the bloody soul leaves from the cross, it ain't coming back from inside Jesus because it's already gone. It's got to come back into Jesus. It's got to pass through the shroud on the outside of the shroud, leaving the burnt image there of the old man. That's why he's got white hair. Really good looking guy, I must admit.
It's gorgeous. Glorious and
And you can see, like, my body, as you know, when you throw me roughly to the ground, you've had a look at it, and it is the shroud shape. It's exactly the same. The same arms, the same legs, the same chest muscles, same feet, and same face.
Same.
Exactly the same.
The same.
So now I'm old and grey, I can't really resist you because I'm a bit weak. So when you sort of grab me and have your way with me, throw me roughly to the ground.
Well, you said to me that since I was your wife and pregnant with twins at the cross.
Now, I've got a little bit more information for you.
Oh, go.
When you add the 6754 as numbers, it comes up to 22. That's how long I was when I was born. That's how many of these, when we're in Egypt, the most amazing thing in Egypt is the pyramid, of course, but also the Apis bulls. And these are huge, absolutely 100-ton blocks that have been taken from the Sudan and from the other side of the mountains, up the Nile, 500 bloody miles, transported across the desert, buried, honed out with a laser beam. Actually, there's no way of explaining how it was made. Because if you take a big block of, let's say it's half as big as the room you're sitting in listening to me now. That's as big as these things are, 8 foot high. Right? So it's high as the ceiling. Then they've cut a piece out of it 6 feet or so long, 6 feet deep, and maybe 4 foot wide. American numbers. Right? So how does it get it laser down to the very corner bits? They are absolutely perfect. How do you get a laser in there to cut down a square and then do the bottom as well? Angels can do that, man cannot.
Angel.
And there's 22 of them. Angels, where angels are. Alright, so you take the area of the Shroud of Turin, of the larger piece, add the numbers together, and it gives you 22. Alright. So we look up 22 and see what that number is. And what is it? Unmarried, which is what I am to the masses of the world, because I am one male on the entire creation. There's only one male. That's why it's one Y chromosome and 23 XX chromosomes of the blood that's in the shroud. And that's why my blood today has got 3, 4 and 13, because that's another part of the prophecy that when we got together and we married, where was it at? A latitude of 3, 4, 13, which is where all the hang gliders are. If you go there today, they've even got them shaped with an eagle on them. So look at 200 or 300 metres up in the air, and there's these beautiful people running around hanging from these hang gliders with eagles on them. That's where the eagles fly. I can stay up there for hours. Because the wind coming off the coast comes up the side of the mountain, and maybe 1,000 metres high. I don't know actually how high it is. I should look it up, I suppose. But at least say 2,000 feet, right? And the wind coming up there is quite a stiff breeze. So you just go running off the edge, you jump, and then you get taken up. And you just glide around and you stay up there for weeks if you want to. And they do. Some people go up in the morning and stay up there all day. Beautiful thing to do. Something I've always wanted to do and never got around to it. So that's what 22 is in Greek. It's unmarried. Right? And then possessor of God in Hebrew 1 and 14. Possessor of God. So that's what the shroud's all about. Now I haven't talked to you about the 3.5 inches by 171 metre, have I? Okay, that number is 5985. So first off, it ends with a 5, which is Father again, Abba. But you can go to 598 in either Hebrew or Greek. Well, let's do it in Hebrew. Distress, right? Aramaic from 597. Well, call me old-fashioned, but you get nailed with a bloody cross. You aren't happy about it, right? But you are insisted to do so. So the soul within me at that time is the Father. And I said, Father, if it is your will, I'm talking to the soul, if it's your will, let your will be done.
Nevertheless, thy will be done.
I'll do it. So the physical Jesus did it, and the soul, and that's why I do things today, right? I'm not happy about it. I'll just get on and do it, right? Because now the soul's one on the outside, it's even worse. So the number is from 597 is to insist, to compel. So we go to Greek, and that is to crowd or press in from every side. So today, the soul's around me, and I'm crowded, I'm within it, right? So it presses in from every side. So that's what that is. So you can do that number in Hebrew as well and add the 5 to it if you like. And that number becomes...
27.
Huh?
27.
Where?
27.
What is?
Adding all the numbers up, 589.
Oh, 27, is it?
Yes, 5895.
Oh,
right?
what is it?
27, and in
No,
Greek
what
it
is
is
it?
purification.
Purification.
Now, what's interesting is in Hebrew, because this is where it all began, and this is what it's all about, being David, in Hebrew it's Abishag, father of Erah, and this is David himself. And Abishag was the concubine of David that Adoniah asked for
That's right.
the hand in marriage, and he was murdered for it by Solomon, the black witch, the illegitimate bastard son, the product of the adultery between David, who is the father of Erah, who had Uzziah murdered, to have Bathsheba as his wife. So from this is the House of Windsor, Elizabeth sitting on the throne of David.
From Solomon.
From Solomon.
And Mary Magdalene and Jesus in there too.
Well, that's how they try to implicate it. It's all, but clearly from Solomon, as they're riding around in their horses and carriages and all the rest of it, as the world is at war, starving, sick, diseased, poisoned, and she is responsible for the whole ball and wax.
Of course she is.
She's the custodian of the throne.
I'm responsible for making them better.
Yes. So it really boils down to, you said yesterday you could do, you've got it all covered. However, a few more numbers behind you would help. Well, the free man movement, for example, is crapping on about the sovereignty of themselves. There is one sovereign, King of Kings, Lord of Lords, the Christ, takes over.
Now, I'll just do another little number here. So we have the number 598.5, right? That's the little shroud on the cloth on the side, the wrapping.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the number 59, sorry, because it's 598.5. The number 59 is to redeem. Okay? To go,
Yes.
to purchase, especially to redeem, buy, redeem. For those of you who aren't familiar with all this
Look, getting
what it
back to the smaller cloth, it adds up to 27. What I did was added it to the 22 to get 49, and that goes back into the 5. But the 27 is father of judgment and dearly beloved in Greek.
all right, and the 49 is
The
how
49
many
is the
points
two of them
are of
together.
the, what I gave
Vatican
to Pope
III.
Benedict as the 49 points of Vatican
And we've
III.
been talking about 7. 7 times 7 is 49, and 7, of course. Just give you a little. Adam Yates sent this morning. Read the 7.
Now, I typed that out in 36 minutes.
Yes.
So what's 4 times 9?
4 times 9.
49. What's 4 times 9?
36.
That's how long it took me to do it.
That's right. Now, here is a little about the 7s within the whole Bible. Number 1, the number of words in the vocabulary divides evenly by 7. Number 2, the number of words that begin with a vowel divides evenly by 7. The number of words that begin with a consonant will divide evenly by 7. The number of words that begin with each letter of the language's alphabet will divide evenly by 7. The number of words that occur more than once will divide evenly by 7. The number of words that occur only once will divide evenly by 7. The number of words that occur in only one form will divide evenly by 7. The number of words that occur in more than one form will divide evenly by 7. Goes on and on and on about the number of words. The number of letters in the vocabulary will divide evenly by 7. Right down to 16, 17. The total numeric value of all the words will divide evenly by 7. 18. The numeric value of the various forms in which the words occur will divide evenly by 7. Right down to 19 and 20, the number of words that are found in the Bible will divide evenly by 7, and the number of promises found in the Bible will divide evenly by 7. Now, what is interesting is that measuring from the Apis bulls, back to Turgum, wasn't it? The look back to
Yes.
Turgum was measured 7,777
right.
nautical miles. So Golgotha, of course, is 777 meters above sea level, etc. It's all about the sevens. And what is interesting is that on March the 30th, just days away, Adam's 24th birthday, it will have been 7 years that I found you. So our anniversaries are coming up.
And we've been to 7 nations with cures. Or 7
Well,
times.
seven trips with... and, yeah, it's all about the sevens. 77777. So this is an exciting year, in spite of what the enemy is doing. I'm looking at reports about this plane that crashed. They're saying that the pilot was a German Jew and that there was only one pilot in the cockpit when it crashed.
Rubbish.
Well, what they're saying is that the pilot himself was outside of the cabin. There was only one pilot inside, and one guy was trying to get into the cabin with an axe. In other words, it was deliberate by the dude who was sitting in the seat at the time, who apparently had mental issues, and he was Jewish. Whatever. That's part of what's going on. And that it's all another sacrifice. They were trying to do things with CERN on the same day, all the same BS. It's a tragedy.
Well, usually there's a crew of 3 in any jet. There's a navigator, there's a co-pilot and a pilot.
Yeah, well, there were 144.
All can fly the
There
plane,
were
by the way.
144 passengers on board plus 6 crew. 2 were pilots and 4 cabin staff. And there was only one in the cockpit at the time that it crashed because the other one was trying to get in with an axe, which is what they do carry for these situations.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So, and the other interesting thing that looking over at the Helio viewer, I don't know what's going on here.
I should just mention on the doing this PowerPoint, I'll probably put it all in one because they all are interrelated, the numbers except for, as you know. And I'll do the extension, if you like, and I'll include a little bit of the gliders hanging around the where we exchanged vows, if you say. And you got my $10,000 ring.
Shall I tell a story about that?
Again?
No, I haven't told it before publicly. Anyway, when he says a $10,000 ring, the only thing that was accurate in all history, when King of the Jews over the top, was
7 diamonds in it.
It does, seven diamonds, but he really is the King of the Jews and would never pay $10,000 for a ring, no matter. He put in a bid for what, 888?
Retail was 11,500.
Well, yes, they always have their recommended retail prices on it, etc. And the insurance values did come in.
Now, I did
That's
happen
not
to
what you
leave
paid
the
for.
price on the ring that you looked at.
What was that?
The price, the retail price was still in the box.
Yes, I know that. Yeah. No, I know that. But I knew at the time when you said you'd paid this amount, I said you did not.
I was trying to be romantic, all right?
Well, don't come at me with a,
You got a bloody ring, didn't you?
Yes, it's a beautiful ring and I love it. It's my wife ring and it has 7 beautiful diamonds in it. I love it.
It's 11.5 grand.
But I just knew immediately.
US dollars
Yes,
too.
this is true. Yes, this is true. It's all true. That's what the recommended retail price was on it, and the insurance value.
All doesn't
Not-
matter.
it's
I
not-
could have got it like me bloody mother. Could have got and
not what
paid
you
nothing
paid
for it. It's not the point. You got $11,500 US ring.
Yeah, totally, absolutely. But just don't say to me that's what you paid for, because I know you better. Even before that, you did not. King of the Jews. Hello. When you say king, he's King of the Jews. What does it mean? We shop at Salvos. We shop at Salvos. Anything above $3 is out of the question. That's what it means.
Can't no more. The prices all gone up.
At Salvos, they have. We're not shopping at the Salvos anymore. They're charging ridiculous prices.
I gave my 2 granddaughters and the Saris.
Sorry.
The Saris report in, and of course
India.
I told them that I was going to India and that we would send them.
Send them a sari.
Right, so when we got back, we sent the sari.
That's right. Immediately.
And that's right. Well, they're absolutely just beside themselves.
Phoned them.
Fantastic, right? I didn't know what it was, and I had to explain to them on the phone.
And I told them to watch some YouTubes to get ideas on how to wrap them, because it is an art. And I did say to Alaska, it's a lot of material, you will have to grow into it. Because it's...
one size fits all, because you keep on writing it tighter.
Yes, but it's the... unless they're probably taller than me, but anyway.
Well, the big girls.
That's how you do. Babe, we're running out of time.
Not again.
Again.
I'm just giving them roll on.
No, well, coming up to... and we are live.
And tomorrow we'll do the same thing, we'll have nothing to talk about.
Totally. Alright, later gators, we're going to play the choir once more and then be out of here.
The Go Lightly Martial Hour on freedomtalkradio.net.
I'll just do a count now before you...
A count? What kind of
Well,
a
I'll
count?
go into this thing again, see how many watches we had. It was 28, right?
Yes.
And we'll go in there and have a little quick look.
And it is...
30.
Ooh, so one other person